Welcome back to our house for tea. It's lovely to have you here. I'm just going to spend a couple of minutes talking to you about the Low FODMAP Diet and Me, which is actually a brilliant title for a film if anyone's interested in that. I've been suffering from the symptoms of IBS all my life really, and I was always very confused about why I had such intense pains. I mean, I've been to A&E with suspected appendicitis so many times. Even when I was trying to tell people, no, I haven't got appendicitis, it's very difficult when people are wheeling you off. And I've had bloating that goes from your bra line basically to your knicker line. So you look several months pregnant, and then sort of tiny eyes because my face is so bloated. My eyes would disappear into my face and my neck would disappear into my body. So yeah, horrific bloating and stomach aches and headaches and nausea as well, and just really didn't feel myself, and certainly didn't feel that my diet warranted my size, because I was eating really healthily and I wasn't eating too much, but somehow I was massive, and the two just didn't tally up at all. I went through a series of GPs telling me to eat more fibre and to eat various sorts of veg and fruit, and it just seemed to make things worse. And eventually I did a York test and found out there were certain things that were triggered that I was intolerant to, like eggs, like yeast, and I can't remember the others now off the top of my head, some other things anyway. And so I'd eliminated those from my diet, but I went back to see a new GP this time who was actually really helpful and said, well, let's get you to a dietitian and check that everything's nutritionally correct. I'm not a nutritionist, I'm not a dietitian. So off I went to the dietitian, who said, would you be interested in this trial that they're doing for the Royal College of Dietitians? It's called the Low FODMAP diet, and I thought, okay, what? And he just gave me some leaflets, and I found it very difficult to understand at first, and the only way I could make sense of it was to make an Excel document with red and green. So I was working my way through that, and then it became very obvious to me that my daughter, who had been on laxatives since she was tiny, and I'd go back and say, pretty sure she shouldn't be on laxatives, and she would also get very bloated. And I took her back to the GP and said, do you think she could see the dietitian as well? So she got referred, and the dietitian said, well, there aren't any children on the trial at the moment, but you seem to know what you're doing, let's see what happens. But she did have to keep some milk in her diet for a while. So under his guidance, we went on it, and within days for both of us, the results were just remarkable. All this bloating dropped off. I barely lost any weight on it at all. What I did lose was size and bulk and bloating. So it worked fantastically for me, but it did leave me the problem of what can we eat? Because yes, I had my Excel document. This was before there was the FODMAP app, the Monash one. So I started doing kitchen diaries with every meal I made, and eventually just working our way through normal food that wasn't going to look too weird in their sandwich boxes, that wasn't going to take me hours to prep, and wasn't going to need a horrific amount of weird and wonderful ingredients. And so that's all worked out really well for us. Both of us now, we don't have any medication to deal with symptoms. We just happily troll along with what we do, and it's been the most wonderful thing for us. So if the pregnancy bloating is something you feel is familiar to you, then I do recommend you go and see a GP or a dietitian as soon as you can. And also, it's not really something you should go about on your own. As I say, I'm not a nutritionist, I'm not a dietitian, but I am someone who's had sort of over 4 years experience now of just trying to make food that looks normal out of the ingredients that are available on the Low FODMAP diet. And I think we're doing pretty well, really. And the other thing is, when you're on a restricted diet, it can be very easy to fall into the same patterns of eating the same food that you know won't make you ill all the time. And that's really, really joyless, which defeats the point of us having family meals, to be honest. It should be a shared time. It should be a time where we enjoy cooking together as much as we do eating together. So that's why our house for tea came about, and that's me and the Low FODMAP diet.